Hello, welcome back to another minifigure designing video. Today we are doing some more figures from the Avatar universe, we'll start with Aang, Katara, and Zuko from their Season 3 appearances, and we'll end up doing Sokka and Toph as well, but those ones, I wasn't able to fit in Zuki, but I want to do her eventually. But I did Sokka and Toph in a separate video because I will be doing custom pieces for mostly for their hair pieces. Actually, I think only for their hair pieces. But yeah, so I figured it would be easier to split it up this way. So we're starting with Aang. They all had super serious faces, and that's maybe not totally in character, but it makes sense with where they are in the series right now. So yeah. Just did his head right there, and we're going to start on the legs real quick. And this is definitely a experiment in doing folds, because if you've listened before, it's not exactly my strong suit, and that's basically all this figure is just different, just fabrics folded in different ways. So yeah, so I'm leaving the torso for last because I don't want to deal with it yet. But we just added the little lines from the tattoos to his arms. And just getting all the little detailing in there before we get started on that. And I wasn't sure what color to make the main torso piece. And I think I end up going with just flesh because as you'll see as we're designing it, the top section is flesh, and then the middle one is orange, and then the one on the side is yellow, and they all have, I wouldn't say pretty equal, but they all have similar, I try to base the torso colors on which color is, touching the edge the most, just in which color would represent the whole thing in general best. Yeah, so everything's touching the edge, similar amounts, everything would be a decent representation. It was basically between orange and flesh, but doing it in flesh, even though it doesn't necessarily cover, it makes it look a little more, not naked, but just uncovered. But it also allows especially the top part of the head, where the neck would be and everything, is flesh, and I just think it looks nicer. So yeah, we are just doing the folds in the fabric up here. The orange section wasn't too difficult. I'll mess with it a little bit more, I think. But I mostly just not copied. I mostly just used the animated version as a reference, and just did that. So that was pretty easy, it's not too difficult, but then the yellow section, the animated version, it kind of just counts on it going into the arm as far as how they designed the folds and everything, and that wasn't something I was able to do, so when I tried to use that as a reference, it kind of just looked weird and not really fabric folds at all. So I kind of freestyled. And yeah, I'm just continuing the orange down here. Then we'll do it on the side of the leg as well, which was so much fun to try to line up when I was doing renders of these. And yeah, and then just the red in here to break it all up. I almost did this red band on the torso part, but I ended up thinking it would be a lot more, what's the word? I just thought it would work better if it was the hip piece, because the hip piece could go all the way around. So yeah, that's why I did that, and that's why I changed it. And I actually really like how the folds on this part of it turned out, even more so than the rest. Just because I think it looks really nice, just the way that it happened to work right there. Yeah, and then I think just these folds on the side were honestly my least favorite part to do. just because you have to worry about them lining up with everything, which is always annoying. Mostly because of that. And it's not really a big deal right now, but trying to do renders of these and like line all the textures up and everything can be so difficult, and it doesn't help that like the pieces I use in the 3D modeling program are slightly different proportions than these templates I use, so I could probably fix that, make it a lot easier on myself, but I haven't yet. But yeah, anyway, we are on to Katara, and I am just using some dual molding. I love dual molding so much. I use it all the time. On her arms to represent her, I don't know what those are called, just the bands on her arms, and then also her legs for her boots. And then we're just gonna, I mean, it's a pretty simple figure. I think the thing that I mostly struggled with for her was trying to figure out which parts I wanted to be like outlined in black and which ones I didn't. And I ended up using Lego's old version as inspiration in that regard, and actually just outlined like the top of some sections in black rather than the whole thing, and I think that ended up working pretty well. Because I almost did it like Korra and just didn't outline anything, but it was looking a little bit drab, and I thought it wouldn't necessarily fit in too well with Aang, who had everything outlined super nice. So yeah, so I just added it a little bit. And just in certain parts. And then we're just doing the parts of her leg. This is, I wouldn't call it, this is, I guess dress would be appropriate, because it's not a skirt, because it, like, you put it up around your arms. So we're doing her dress right here, and just the end of her dress, and doing the slits in the side, and the little detailing right here. And that's about all there is to it. Just copy this over. Pretty simple stuff, just messing with it a little bit, because I just wanted to make sure it looked right. And then, yeah, that's honestly most of it. I'll just have her torso and the back of her torso to do, and her face. And I did definitely use Lego's version as some inspiration, mostly on the shaping of the eyebrows and how they did that. And I did do her, what are these called? I forget what these are. I'm sorry, it's like so early in the morning right now. I mean, it's really not that early, but it's early for me. Her hair loopies. Yeah, I just printed those on like Lego did, because I didn't want to make a whole new hairpiece for her, to be honest. And I'm not really that advanced yet to be able to make one for Katara with how complex her hair is, so I just printed it on. And it really, like, in this season, she doesn't really wear them out, and they really just kind of barely show. I mean, they're mostly tucked into her hair. So, the way that I did that just made so that it would barely show. But anyway, we're on to Zuko now. And I'm just kind of doing a similar thing that I did, or ended up doing with Katara. Apparently, I didn't record that part. But just doing the black outline on the, like, one side, and then not on the other side. Yeah. And Zuko was really fun to do. There's not a ton of Lego versions of any of these figures. But especially of Zuko in this season, specifically in this outfit. So, I do try to use, like, things that people have done before as inspiration sometimes, which of course everybody does. I mean, really, like, as with any art form, if you aren't using references, like, it's just not going to be as good. There's no way to get around it. And sometimes using other people's work as references is perfectly fine, because there are plenty of different ways to do things. It's nice to see what other people have done. People have used my work as reference all the time. Not all the time, sometimes. And I use other people's work as reference all the time. So, you know, it's not a bad thing to do at all. And I'm just using lines with various ooh, what's it called? I can't see the screen. It's a little bit smaller on mine. I can't remember what this is called. Just like different weights on the lines, basically. I think it actually is called weight. To represent the different colors of the borders of his sleeve and his undershirt. And then just continuing his robe down into the legs right here. And I think I end up, I don't know if it was after I recorded, but I end up like bringing them down a lot more than they are now. Just to make them a bit longer. Or make it a bit longer. And then we'll just do it on the legs as well. And I think that's about, I mean, we obviously have his face to do. Oh yeah, and the detailing here, which I think ended up looking pretty good. Yeah, I really like how that turned out, for sure. And then we'll just copy some of this over to the back. I mean, the back is really just like, you know, there's nothing really going on back there, for the most part. And we'll do his face, and I just copied Aang's over, and then we'll edit that. Yeah, I used a couple different, a few different, how do I word that? Like, I went to a few different places for references, basically, for his scar, because I wanted to, like, Lego's old version is nice, but I wanted it to look, like, updated and modern. So, I looked at a few other people's versions of this figure, well, of Zuko, and just basically took inspiration from tons of different places, Lego included, and used ideas from pretty much everybody. I kind of molded it together to fit my needs, which is really all drawing stuff is, for the most part, honestly. So yeah, we're just going to use this photo as our main reference to get the basic shape down, accounting for what we can't see. And yeah, just edit that from there and make it look all nice and fit with a minifigure face and its proportions. We'll definitely be editing, yeah, I used just the image as reference for the colors at first, and it did not look great. And yeah, I really like the use of making his eye look... I like how his eye ends up looking squinty. I think it looks really nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just going to edit some of that, and we're done. There's the final renders. I really like how they ended up looking. I'm excited for the other two, and for Appa, which we will be building to go with these. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and have a great day.